Hey guys, Doug here. Sorry it took so long, but Bonafide was in a meeting with the Border Patrol and everybody else down there for the last hour and a half. He just got out, and he's getting ready to come on right now. I know I've been holding you guys in suspense. I do apologize. There is some crap going down on that border. They have fired the guy that was in charge of all the Border Patrol that was put in place by 45 President Trump. Now they put this guy in control of it that don't care what the hell's going on. So he just left that meeting. He's about to come in the back office and go live from down there on the border where the meeting was and see if he can get one of the sheriffs to come on here live and explain what in the hell's going on down at the border. It's batshit crazy, like I said it was. He'll be on just a minute, okay, guys? No call outs, no advertisements. We just going live. This is breaking news. Our border is wide slam open. Don't nobody give a crap who's coming in our country, and they're sending in, not good people. Do you follow what I'm saying? So there's no call outs, no call outs. This is crazy. We're waiting for Tim Bonafide to come in. He just got off the phone with me. Okay. Ain't know what I wasn't leading y'all along. He was in a meeting that all the sheriffs were in, the Border Patrol was in, and how they put this new guy in charge of the border that just is going to leave it wide slam open. Something's got to happen real soon. As we know, as he waits to come in, the guy that owned that McVeigh, whatever his dude is, that dude is like, I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he could be the switch that starts everything. He was in that jail supposedly. The next thing you know, there's a flight coming back from Spain where he was supposedly in jail, a DOD plane. But that might have been the fail-safe switch to cut everything and go. But we'll see. We're waiting on Tim to come in. Yes, this is real news. None of that fake crap you see. Where's the military? That's what we want to know. Why ain't they protecting our borders? We had signed a treaty with Mexico back in the 1800s. We can't even protect the water on the outskirts of our border down there in Texas and Arizona. This has got to stop. Now, Bob Marley wants to go down there tomorrow, but she's going to El Paso. That's not really where the problem is. But as we know, 45 is about to head down there. So I'm waiting on Tim to go live. He's trying to line up a sheriff to come on here and talk to us live about how dire the situation is down on the border. It's uncontrolled. People are coming in our country. Who do you think they're going to vote for if they let them in, give them a ton of money, and ask them where they'd like to go? They're just giving them plane tickets and let them go where the hell they want. I want to go to Dallas. I want to go to Minnesota. I want to go to Virginia. They just put them on a plane and tell them, here's some money, here's a card, and go do what you want. And coming across with passports. Where did these people come? They're flying these people in. There's no way they're making this thousands of mile trip, you know what I mean, in clean clothes. They're just showing up at the border and they're bringing them right on across. This is crazy. Yup, and giving them money to boot. I don't understand it. Something has got to be done. Something has got to be done. Know that we have another 150 shirts coming for these. They're working on them right now. They're working on some cool ass hats. They're going to say Frog News, and the other one will be the frog itself where he's coming out. I got getting 100 hats made right now for Spartanburg, and they'll be also for sale. I didn't want to get into merch business. I was going to let somebody else ship it. What the hell? We might as well do it. So that's being made right now by the biggest vendor, the top 3 vendor in the country. And come to find out, they're 8 miles from my house. Crazy how things just happen. But we're waiting for Bonafide right now, guys. So just hang in there. He said he was coming to me live. We have a special guest and a new sponsor coming on the show. Case stuff really happens. Check this out. Satellite phone. My cell phone goes out. I'm up on the satellite phone. Another new sponsor. Thank God. But we'll tell you about that later. But we're waiting right now for Bonafide right now. But guys, things are going ape shit down on the border. He is down there live. Okay. This ain't 20 miles away. He's down there on the border. He reported from yesterday. He had some videos on his page showing how they crossed, how they came across on Mike's property. Crazy. And then on the other property of a neighbor that he has permission to film on. And this is, like he said, within a quarter-mile radius, like 18 people an hour were coming by. The border is like 1,000 miles long. I mean, how many people are coming in a day? They're making billions of dollars, millions of dollars a day to cartel off the open border. It's got to stop, or we won't have a country back. I think everybody's just turning a blind eye to what's going on. But like I said, we're just waiting for him to go on. That's why he went straight there after we met that guy Mike at the restaurant that night. He's got it all. And it is an invasion. People are worried about the alien invasion from the sky. It's coming through right on the ground. We hear about the aliens later. This is happening right now. Let me check my phone. People say, why don't you cut it off? Because Tim is texting me. He said, stand by. He's coming in a second. So listen, guys, that's why the phone's on. I got goosebumps. This is what's happening live now, not some prearranged bullshit you see on CNN and Fox and all that. This is what's really happening. You want real news? We got real news. We don't have all this recorded crap and then we load it up on there. This is real news, real stuff that's happening right now. Right now, as soon as he comes on, this is going on. There was a big meeting. They fired the commandant, whoever the hell is in charge of the Border Patrol. Biden fired him yesterday and hired a liberal guy that just wants the border wide open. Let anybody in our country you want. They already got passports. They give them a Visa card. They give them money. They put them on a plane and send them anywhere they want to go. This is insane. You damn right I'm fired up. You're not fired up. You want our country to get taken away? I'm just being serious. This is serious stuff. Well, if you don't like it, you can head to another channel, bud. I'm sorry, I'm fired up. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get fired up, you know, hey, I didn't ever say I was a disciple. I say I love Jesus. I believe in God. He forgives me for my sins. Sinning, cursing don't send you to hell anyway. Read the Bible. Anyways, we're waiting on Bonafide to come in. But you can criticize all you want. Step off if you don't like it. Change the channel. Well, it's just like that picture I said, kill a few and the rest will stop, right? It's the truth. But they said if they fire on anybody over across the water or anybody in the water, for every shot that's fired across the water, they'll kill 2 of our Border Patrol. That's what the cartel sent the message. We'll kill 2 of the Border Patrol for every shot you fire across the water or shot in the water. So there's some crazy stuff. Don't judge me. Get the information and use it and do something. We're going to have some links up tonight where you can help Mike support the people that their ranches are being tore up. Their fences are being torn down. Nobody's helping. The government, the state, nobody. Who's going to fix the fences? You follow what I'm saying? It's absolutely bozo crazy. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to expose this stuff, guys and girls. We're going to expose it. There you go. If you're not fired up, then you know, if you're not fired up and you're not pissed about what's going on, you know, that's just like I go back to, if you see a soldier coming back and surprising their family and it don't tear your eyes up, you're probably in the wrong country. Okay. You should head on out of here. Here comes Bonafide now. Bonafide.
Hey, you already live?
Yes, sir. We're live right now. I got 1,680 people that just jumped on in a flash. Tell us what's going on down there at the border, brother.
Basically, we just went to, like, I guess you'd call it a town hall meeting.
Uh-huh.
And they changed the chief. I don't know if that's the right title. The guy over the Border Patrol.
Like the commandant of the Border Patrol.
An hour before the meeting. From what I understand, they told the guy that was appointed by Trump, that had a position before him. They told him this morning they gave him the 3 R's to retire, relocate, or be removed. And this happened an hour before this town hall meeting. So I recorded the whole thing. It was about an hour and 15 minutes long, and I don't really want to bore you with all that bull. But it's there's a crisis going on here. You won't believe the people basically now are just leaving their doors on these farms and stuff. They're leaving them unlocked just so that they don't have to repair the locks the next day. It is that bad. I'm staying at a hunting ranch. This is Frog News. Tell everybody who you are.
Hi, dude. I'm a field correspondent for the Daily Caller.
Welcome to the show, sir.
And we're down here, and you've been down here a lot more than I have. So tell everybody what you've seen. This is Frog News. We got a deal on YouTube.
Yeah. So one thing for me that I've been taking away, it's much worse when you see it in person. It's a real crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis. Like I just told him, I've been meeting children traveling by themselves as young as 8 years old, 6 years old. I've been meeting mothers who've been sexually assaulted and raped on their journey here. I've met migrants who have been kidnapped and stashed in stash houses. Actually, I was speaking to a Texas property owner in the McAllen side who said that 3 of his properties were being used by stash houses by the cartels. He had no idea until neighbors were complaining. And it's a real crisis. And the thing is Border Patrol, the resources are all tied up. I mean, it took even Governor Greg Abbott to basically send the state troopers here to somewhat help. It's under Operation Lone Star. We've seen Ron DeSantis sending law enforcement. We got the state of Nebraska also sending law enforcement. So, the law enforcement, Border Patrol, they need any type of help they need. But it's a real crisis. And it's as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. It's still record high numbers. I know the month of May finished with still 180 apprehensions. So I don't see it slowing down. And, I think, all I could do is, from my side, is we're just trying to provide as much video coverage to show Americans just the reality.
Yeah, we need to show everybody, because the news is not going to show what's going on down there. It's going to be you guys like you and Bonafide showing us live what's going on. He showed me some video yesterday, and it's just horrific what's going on down here, and it's not being covered. Our borders are wide open. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, they're completely wide open. I mean, all these border towns, they're using up all their resources in dealing with migrants. I mean, the city of Uvalde only has a total of 5 ambulances for a population of 16,000 people, and the mayor put out last week that 3 of those 5 ambulances were being used for migrants who jumped over the wall and were being injured. So now we're seeing local resources being dried up, and it's leaving the rest of the city, just regular citizens, kind of just empty-handed out here.
Wow, that's just crazy. We need to get the military down there and get control over our border.
You can't bring the military down here.
Wow. Well, I know there was some years back.
Years ago, I've already researched all that. There's a treaty signed years ago. You cannot use the military to protect our border unless shots are fired. What I'm going to do, Doug, is I'm going to get some locals here.
Okay.
Folks that stood up at the town hall meeting.
All right.
And they're going to tell you their story and how they feel about it. And what I'm doing is I'm having to go in and out of the Ramada here and grab them as I can.
Right.
And basically, they're going to tell you their story. And if you got any questions for them, this young lady here.
Right.
Stood up and asked a bunch of questions that basically, did you get any answers for? No. Okay. Tell everybody what your name is. And this is Doug with Frog News Network.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Doug. Thank you for promoting and bringing awareness to our issue here. My name is B. Vallejo. I live like 5 minutes from the border. And let me tell you, what we see is not what we see. Because the Border Patrol is throwing numbers at us, but they're not throwing numbers at us like from the Muslim countries, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Indians, the Pakistanis. We know they're being arrested. We know that some of them are being arrested, but too many of them are getting lost. I know that they hide in their communities, and I know that because they bring money, they then are able to, I think all they need to do is just touch U.S. land, and then they will be able to get a green card because they're going to start a business. Now, the thing here is, the NGOs, which are the nonprofits that are helping bring these people, because they supply them with money. They go to their countries and they encourage them. The ones that were coming from the Muslim countries, they were in refugee camps, and the NGOs vetted these people because our federal government is not vetting them. I know that there's a contract out for some nonprofit through the end of July that is going to be vetting these people. Now what they do is they label them refugees, and they bring them into the country. They pay their way, and immediately when they hit the border, they give them money, and they also hand them an attorney. Now, the children that are coming, when we have gone to visit some of the centers, in El Paso, when they first started, they started out with 500. I believe now they have well over 5,000. And you can see the kids moving in packs, going from one area to the other. You can see where the numbers of the different gangs that they belong to. So some of these people that are sending the kids, these kids are actually invading into these areas because they know that they can come in here. But they've already been trained to be terrorists. They've already been trained to be gang members. So this is the interesting thing, is that the U.S. government is not vetting these people. And a lot of them are coming with fake documents of all sorts. There are NGOs that will sit there with rubber stamps that have been made in Mexico, rubber stamping documents, because they changed their name. You will find a lot of documents thrown out at the border, at the edge of our river, because they don't need those documents anymore. They are now going to take on a totally new personality. It's good that Border Patrol is catching these people because they're fingerprinting them, because they're being processed. But there's a lot that is not being caught. And a lot of what is not being caught are the terrorists and the gang members. And most of these are being sent to us through the children.
Right. So you're saying that the cartel is sending cartel members through as children. They're already part of their gangs and stuff that are going to come in our country and cause mayhem, murder people, and destroy our cities.
Yes.
And basically, a bunch of them are getting through. A few of them are getting arrested. Basically, the rest are just getting through and going where they want, giving them money and sending them all around our country.
Uvalde, Texas is a hub right now for MS-13s.
Wow, that is crazy.
Bracket, there was an MS-13 hiding there just a couple of months ago. He was arrested. They're coming through. And yes, these are the ones that Border Patrol doesn't see, and they don't want to see Border Patrol. But you know what? We see them. And a lot of these groups are being picked up by people with a lot of money. And they're getting across our border. They know exactly what roads to take to get them out of the border and move them in.
So they've all been trained how to come in our country, where to go, who to contact, and where to get away from everybody at.
NGOs are cooperating with these groups. They know, because if they go off to the streets in Mexico and they pick up the abandoned children off the streets and they take them into their casas hogares, which we refer to as orphanages, they pick them up, and then they get some of the abandoned children that they get down from the groups that are coming, and they're supposed to keep them. And then they're supposed to distribute them back so that they can be sent back to their countries. Well, a lot of them are not. They're coming this way. Why are the NGOs, the nonprofits, bringing these children to the United States? The other thing is, okay, if these are, children that have no documents, if these are children that have no families and nobody is looking for them, why aren't the foreign governments getting involved? I don't see the consul here in Del Rio asking for their children or going through the groups to see which are Mexican children. I don't see the consul from Guatemala that is here in Del Rio going out there to check to see how many children are from Guatemala and whether or not they can help. I mean, they're all complaining about the way that we treat the children and the way that we treat the adults, but I don't see them trying to come and help and find family members.
Would you say
when someone dies, immediately you can tell if he's a Guatemalan, a Salvadoran, or Honduran, or one from Mexico, and the consuls go over there and try to help find the relatives so they can send the bodies back. Wow. And 90% of the time they find them. So why can't we not find the parents or the relatives of these children? Because we don't want to. These children are being implanted for a purpose and a reason. All of these children are going to have all kinds of mental health issues. We are going to have to take care of them for the rest of their life because there are going to be all kinds of problems in the States.
In some cases, would you think that some of the sheriffs down there are actually helping the people get in this country, or are they standing up for our borders, or are they helping, or are they stopping them from coming in? Or do they even have that power at this point?
Yeah, they may not.
I see it's about, I'm not going to say 50-50, Obviously the sheriffs that are coming talking to me are
Mhm.
the ones that are going to be helping out, but we do have some that are avoiding us. So you're right, and from what I understand, the sheriff here where we're at in Del Rio is we've got video of him standing there watching everybody come in. But in his defense, there's nothing he can do. The Border Patrol, just like the videos I put out last night, I mean, they're basically helping them out of the water, out of the river. And this one guy, he just basically said the only word he knew in English was Dallas. So basically, he set up to go to Dallas. So what we don't understand is why are these people coming over here with these people's got passports. I've seen them.
Yep.
So
They're
why don't
being
they
funded to come over, right? Bonafide.
Yep.
They're being funded to come across the border.
Yeah,
Exactly
funded.
right.
They're being funded.
All right.
Everyone they're rarely will you find someone that is not funded. They're funded through some nonprofit, and Sin Fronteras is one that helps a lot. They have LULAC helps a lot. I don't understand why they have to give an attorney to a child who doesn't know any better. They don't know whether they're here legally or illegally. They don't understand whether they want to stay or they want to go. Why do we give them an attorney? It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
And then what are we going to do with them when they turn 17 and we release them? Because the federal government's going to have to release them at 17. Where are they going?
Bonafide, didn't you tell us yesterday that the cartel said if you arrest any of the people that's helping the people across the border, they'll kill 2 of our border patrol agents?
The cartel, we've heard that if you arrest a member of a cartel over here, that they would kill 2 officers. Basically, the local government down here, to a certain extent, has got their hands tied. The sheriff that I've been dealing with, he's only got 6 officers, and
Crazy.
it's crazy. And here's what's crazy is he told me this morning. I mean, we're getting this intel in immediately. The guy that was put in place this morning, he basically had his job for an hour, and this young lady here asked him all the questions. He didn't answer no questions. You know, basically he just jumped around. And here's another thing is too, I just found out this morning that the sheriff that I've been talking to, you know, there's supposed to be $1 billion put toward this deal at the border. And they told him this morning that he was going to get grants, but he was not allowed to hire anyone. Now you tell me how that's going to help out. If they basically they tell you, they put it up there on the media that, oh, we're going to put $1 billion towards this, but then they tell the sheriff he's not allowed to hire any more employees. Now, how is that going to help anything?
Right.
You know, he's got 6. When I tell you, I'm sure y'all know about Little Mayberry towns. He's in a little Mayberry town, and he's got 6 deputies that, you know, that basically work 24 hours, and they are steady working break-ins, because in this little town I'm talking about is how far is Kennedy from here? 40
County is about 30 minutes from Del Rio.
40 minutes away, and they're continuously working break-ins simply because these people are making it there. All right, what they're doing is they'll send the cartel. Where I was at yesterday, the cartel was send 15, 20, 60 people across the river. And basically they know that all of the Border Patrol is got to go there and process everyone. So what they're doing is say, look over here while they're doing this over here. So all the bad people come in at the other locations. What's going on, Mike?
We got Mike joining us now.
What's
This was
up?
breaking news. He's live at the border. They fired or told the whoever it is, the commandant of the Border Patrol, he was a retiring or relocation or whatever, and Biden put somebody else in office. The border's wide open.
This happened 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
Happened 2 hours ago. That's why we went live, Mike.
Saul Ortiz, and he is from here, from Del Rio, Texas.
What do you think about it?
And he was at our meeting. No, he was good when he was here in Del Rio, and in Pass, he was good. He was really good. He's a tough man. However, it's like I told him, I don't think that this administration is going to help him. I mean, he has to find a law of some sort that he can use to put these people back into Mexico or wherever they're coming from.
Now, we have seen zero Mexicans. Zero Mexicans. Here's the question is, why was this man replaced an hour before the meeting?
Well,
That's
yesterday
Hey, we
there was
fired,
a
we
there's
fired.
a news story, and it was out yesterday where the chief was given an ultimatum: either resign, retire, or relocate.
Yep.
And so this morning they called Raul Ortiz, who happened to be here in Del Rio, and told him that he would be the next chief. So he only knew. Let's say the meeting started at 10 o'clock. He probably heard about it at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, we're gonna
Wow.
have to, hey, I'm gonna go inside, and this guy's running for land commissioner. And,
Okay.
I'll let y'all listen to what he's got to say. Okay. There's
Mike,
so much
would you-
detail here. It's just very hard to get it out.
Oh, okay. We appreciate you, brother. You stay safe down there as he walks inside, Mike. There's been a couple of people that come on and tell us what's going on down there. It's absolute mayhem down there right now.
All right. Let me see if there's a way for me to. There ain't no
And
way.
this is all because tomorrow, Bob Marley's supposed to visit there, but that's in El Paso. That's not where he's at.
All right. Well, listen. What we're gonna do is, as soon as they get ready to go, I'm gonna stand this up. But he'll be talking. It won't be an interview. He's gonna be
Right. Okay. No problem.
all kind of media here, and he's fixing to start here in just a minute. I'll get it ready for you.
Okay. No problem.
Let's see if I can.
So we fired the good guy, hired a dumbass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just we're gonna get started in 2 minutes, fellas. And I may have to get a little closer, but basically what this is a meeting after the town meeting. We went next door to the Ramada,
Uh-huh.
and basically, and we still got people coming in, and this is the Patriots basically here. I mean, that over there was just ridiculous, man. Like I said, I recorded it. It was over an hour long, and not one question. If somebody answered Mike Miller, he stood up, and I mean, he got a applause after he talked to him. You know,
Right.
Here's the thing about it here, man. You're not allowed to protect yourself. So I'll get into all that here in just a minute. I'm gonna let y'all listen to what this guy has to say, and basically they ain't gonna be able to hear you. So when it's over with, I'll get back on here, and I'll try to get that sheriff here. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, bro.
Let's see if I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a 2-minute warning. Appreciate y'all being here.
Hey, everybody, just joining us. Breaking news from the border right here. They fired the person that was in head of the Border Patrol first thing this morning, right before this big
You
meeting.
want to take a second to tell these folks who you are?
Hey guys,
Let me turn on the volume just a second.
they can hear me without the volume going up.
Breaking news.
Okay, go ahead.
Breaking news. Share this out.
Hey guys, Weston Martinez here from the Texas border. I'm running for Texas Land Commissioner. I was governor for almost 7 years for Governor Perry, and I'm pro-life, pro-gun, pro-family, pro-Israel, and most importantly, I'm pro-Texas. And while some of that has nothing to do with Texas Land Commissioner, it has everything to do with who I am and the things that I'm going to fight for. And we're down here fighting for securing our border, and we're going to have a press conference right now that you guys are going to tune into. So we'll do a direct video with you guys as soon as he coordinates it. But thank you for what you've been doing.
We're ready to go whenever
Thank you, sir. Share this out, guys. Share this out. Share this out. This is not going to be seen on mainstream media.
Hey, I'm gonna turn y'all's volume down here.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're waiting for this to start.
That was for all you live media jokesters. I expect a TikTok on that from somebody. But first off, thank y'all for being here today. I'm Weston Martinez, and I'm running for Texas Land Commissioner. I've been a statewide commissioner for several years here in the state of Texas, and we've got people that are joining us, continuing. We just came from a briefing by the new chief of the United States Border Patrol,
and we're going to talk briefly about that. I do want to take just a moment to talk about what's going on behind us, and that is our friend Governor DeSantis is dealing with a tragedy in Miami right now. We had lunch with him just a few weeks ago and talked about some of the similar values and ideals that are shared between myself and Governor DeSantis. So we're praying for them and pray that nobody is hurt and that they can resolve the situation quickly. But as we move back to what happened on the border, one of the things we want to talk about briefly is that, as Texas Land Commissioner, I have been already fighting to secure the border. Previously, I have actually created legislation in Texas that made human trafficking a death penalty offense. And it was sad to me to learn that in Texas, human trafficking was not a death penalty offense. What was sadder to me is that situation, we were able to get it through the Senate, through the House, but not signed into law by the governor. So those are things that we need to be focused on. Go ahead. And also, we have also been fighting against voter fraud. I worked with Project Veritas to help get the lady arrested in Bexar County that was responsible for widespread voter fraud. In fact, we have one of the candidates here that she infiltrated his campaign in order to find out what was going on. We found out after the fact. But when we look to what's happening, most people don't know. With the Texas General Land Office, there's nothing general about the General Land Office. It's a very highly specific, detailed job that involves managing all of the investments derived from the land that's owned by the General Land Office so that it can fund the veterans benefits and also fund the future of children's education in Texas, which includes the permanent school fund, the permanent university fund, and then it does other things like maintains the Texas beaches, runs the Adopt a Beach program, works in concert with Texas Parks and Wildlife on any and all leases that take place on that office. But I can tell you that the other thing that it does is maintaining our border. And we're here in Del Rio, Texas. We just came from the new chief. His first act as chief of the U.S. Border Patrol was addressing a group of citizens. And I can tell you that as General Land Officer, we will make sure that we maintain all of the boundaries of the state of Texas so that no one can come into the state of Texas, whether it's from the Red River or the Rio Grande. No one can come into the state of Texas without coming through the front door and doing it the right way. And today we are going to briefly talk about what happened with new Chief Ortiz, right? Ortiz, with the U.S. Border Patrol, and some things that we are going to do as Texas Land Commissioner. I can tell you that we have heard politicians talk our entire lives. And let me tell you what, talk is cheap and walls are expensive. So when we look at what we're dealing with, number one, as a former statewide commissioner, I can tell you that I have already successfully worked inside of government as a private businessman to find efficiencies, to find ways to secure money so we can do things that make sense in the business world. As a statewide commissioner for almost 7 years, while I was on the real estate commission and chairman of the budget committee for several of those years, it really made me sick that the real estate commission had to rent a building from the state of Texas. If you're in the real estate business, everybody knows it's always better to own if you can. But yet the agency that regulated all the realtors, inspectors, and appraisers did not own their building. So I worked with the other commissioners. I got them to agree that we would start setting aside money, not shirking our responsibilities. And we amassed several $1 million, created a plan to move forward to do that. And then after I was off the commission, sad to report, the folks in the Pink Dome saw that there was millions of dollars sitting in an agency, and they came and they took that money. So 2 things we want to point out. Number one, if you're committed to a plan, you'll actually hit the target. And 2, if you let politicians do what politicians do, they will always try to take whoever's money they can possibly take. And as land commissioner, it would be the equivalent of being the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I've equated it to some people. If you were hiring somebody to be CEO of the King Ranch, what would they need to know about? Well, thankfully, I'm blessed to have an infrastructure background. I'm blessed to have had my own oil and gas service company, so I know about mineral rights, surface rights, water rights, land rights, grazing rights. I've overseen leasing of over 300,000 acres across the state of Texas. And when we're on the border, we know that whenever a pipeline company wants to put a new pipeline across the land that we are responsible for, and they go to pay us a royalty for it, one of the things that I told the new chief of the Border Patrol today is I said, look, I'm committed to securing the border and making our agency as friendly with yours as possible. I did not know that 15 minutes later, when they were giving their presentation, that the U.S. Border Patrol was going to list out the agencies that were working alongside them. And the agency they did not list was the General Land Office. That broke my heart. That's not a Republican or Democrat issue. We have people here on the border that have people going through their yards at all hours of the night. Last night, we were out on the border with some friends at the Rio Grande. And while we were there, we could hear people clapping through the water because it was a shallow area. And this group of individuals, we went down the dirt road through the mud to go find out where they were crossing at, to help identify them, to help get them connected with the law enforcement, because God knows what condition they were in. Were they coming in illegally? Absolutely. But God knows what condition they were in. So we needed to find it, process it. And as we were walking back, one of our friends that was there, Mike Miller, we could hear them in the cattails. Y'all go watch the live video on YouTube that we have, and you can see where we were talking about it. But when we look at building a wall, when we look at securing our border, there's more than one way to do that. I have an infrastructure background. One of the questions that I was able to ask the new chief of the Border Patrol was, from an infrastructure aspect, what are the other things, the ideas that he has in making the border secure? Because he talked specifically about, as y'all were there that heard, he talked specifically about infrastructure and that he supported infrastructure. I did tell him that I was disappointed that Vice President Harris chose not to be here in Del Rio with the newly elected chief of the Border Patrol in the hot spot. I mean, maybe she thought that El Paso meant, to pass on by and not be here. But regardless, she was not here. It was her loss. And honestly, it allowed Chief Ortiz to really say some things that he was certainly having on his heart. But let me tell you, from the General Land Office, we have over 600,000 acres of land that are under the purview of the General Land Office. Not only that, but those surface acres are owned by the GLO, and they're along the Rio Grande Valley. Okay. And some of those places you couldn't build a wall because it's, as was talked about with Chief Ortiz, some of those places, they're very high escarpments, very high cliffs. The wall's kind of already there. God put it there. But when we look at what else is happening, we have the wall that's being built and miles that have been built. Chief Ortiz mentioned some of the areas he suggested, and the estimates that are coming out currently are $13 and $14 million a mile is what they say it's going to cost to build a wall. Being in the infrastructure business, I never trust numbers. I always want to scrub the numbers and validate it. And I know that if we get involved, that we can build the wall cheaper, and we can build it quicker, and we can use technology to do it. The chief actually talked about a piece of technology in the ground. From an infrastructure background, I would say that's great, except all you got to do is cut it, and then it doesn't work. So there's some thought that has to happen. But it was a good beginning conversation. At the General Land Office, there are dollars that are not constitutionally committed. And my commitment is to take all of the available resources that we have at the General Land Office, just like I've already done at the Texas Real Estate Commission, and make those dollars fix the problems that we need to have fixed without shirking our responsibility, without serving the veterans that we need to serve. I'd be chairman of the Veterans Land Board, which is a very serious and very amazing thing. And we're going to get that done. So there's a whole lot of other things that we can talk about with the General Land Office, what it does, how it does. But again, talk is cheap, walls are expensive, and I'm going to make sure as General Land Officer and as Texas Land Commissioner that we get it done. And all of these people that you've heard on TV say, oh, we're going to build it, we're going to build it. That's right. We're going to build it. And we're going to use the power of the bully pulpit to make sure they do it. I'm very thankful that our campaign has already been endorsed by statewide conservative leaders like Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller, other conservative leaders and business people across the state of Texas. We have faith community leaders across the state of Texas that are involved in our campaign and supportive of us because they know that our heart is to do what's right. Our heart is to put solutions on the ground that are not a Republican or Democrat issue, but put people over politics. Today, I'm joined by my friend Angelo, friend of my family, my mom and dad very well, and his wife, and their friend, and their faith leaders here in the Del Rio area. And they have a history of service. You see, I don't believe the bureaucrat in Austin, and I don't believe the bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. I believe the people like you that are right here on the ground seeing the problems day in and day out. And then we take those problems and we move them to the people that can make the solutions. And as land commissioner, I tell you what, I have been committed to securing the border forever. I've gotten criticized for it, and it's not a problem. I don't mind that because I know my heart is to do what's right. And so as we move into winning this race in November, we know that our background, our work ethic, that we are the candidate that wins in the next November after the 22 primary. But right now, we're in the hunt for the race for the November 22 primary. And we're the only one, we are the leader for Texas Land Commissioner. And when we move this over to ERCOT is a big issue that we're talking about right now. The federal government should not be able to tell me how much power I can generate because they arbitrarily put together a climate parity accord agreement that Biden signed on day one that caused generators to be offline. Most people don't know this. When you build a green energy plant of any kind in Texas, solar farm, wind farm, go down the list. Some of those solar and wind farms wind up being on land of the General Land Office. Well, because of my private sector work, one of the things that I'll let you guys in on is that carbon credits are generated from those green energy projects. Just like we have mineral rights, land rights, water rights, surface rights, there's carbon credits as well. Texas is one of the only places on the planet where you can divest that carbon credit and sell it to somebody like China, Korea, somebody that wants to make America, right, fall under these egregious things. All they're doing is they're paying the fiddler so they can keep their smokestack going. So one of the things that we're going to do as we renegotiate contracts and as we look at contracts is we're going to look at holding back some of those carbon credits and keeping them in the bank for the state of Texas so that we can generate as much power as we need and still maintain the levels that are out there. But at the same time, the federal government, they're not going to tell us what to do. This is the state of Texas. This is not the state of Washington, D.C. And we're excited today to be here. Now what we're going to do is have the debrief with what we heard at the Border Patrol with Chief Ortiz. Let me start off by telling you one of the most horrible things that I heard today in the community when we were talking, when they said that the people captured for that had sex trafficking crimes, that it was up 1,400%, a 1,400% increase in folks that were that had sexual offenders in folks that have been being caught. So these are people that got caught, got deported, and came back. So now the numbers are 1,400 people above. That was really, really a travesty, and the people in the Rio are talking about it. They had another gentleman that talked about all these people coming across. Response time was the issue they were talking about, and how do you get to the response time? So I want to thank all of our friends and support that came here today. We know that there's a lot more that were unable to make the trip to the border. We will be in the Valley on the 30th of next week. I will also be at CPAC in the middle of July, along with Mauro Garza, who's also here today, who's running against Joaquin Castro for Congress. I can tell you that he will absolutely do a better job than Joaquin Castro. Don't take it the wrong way, but anybody could. But this is where we start. We have to work together to fight for Texas, to fight for the future of Texas, because my wife and 5 children, I want them to have the privileges to continue to live in safety. We don't live on the border. We live in San Antonio. I know people in D.C. think that's the border, but the people that are here know that's not. And I'd like to just talk briefly for a couple of people. To add, Morrow, what was one of the highlights at the border meeting that you thought was interesting?
Well, it was the question of, I asked him not about
Bonafide
turn my
walking
volume
back
back
out.
up.
Okay. That's just crazy stuff. That guy did a great press conference.
That right there, that is the numbers that they reporting, that there's a
Right.
1,400. Now, you understand you're getting this from the Border Patrol. So,
Right.
and they said it's up 1,400% for sex trafficking and guys being caught that are sex offenders. There's videos out there that has not been released yet that are basically, the video was shot across the river where they're raping people, and there's nothing they can do about it. People think, and I'm going to go ahead and address the audience right now.
Thank you, sir.
People think this is a Texas problem. This is absolutely an American problem. Because let me tell you, the hunting camp that I'm at is about 2 hours away from the border. Over an hour, let's just say over an hour. And it is abandoned because the train track runs near it. All right. So you got all these men, illegal aliens, that are basically, if the train slows down or whatever the case may be, they're getting off there. And I can see all the proof. When you have a piece of property that is worth a couple $1 million and you have to abandon it, and you have to leave the doors unlocked, because if you don't, basically they're going to tear it up. They're going to tear the place that I'm in right now has got the lock broke off the door. If you got to have security at your home, I mean, this is absolutely, this is American deal. I cannot stress enough. All right, we are 2 hours away, and this is taking place from the border where I'm staying at. So it's going to keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. I mean, and here's the thing about it is they are giving these people tickets to go anywhere they want to go and give them the money. So, and I've seen it.
Why can't they bring in the National Guard?
There was a treaty signed that they would. Now, the only thing Texas can do is bring in what Texas has. Now, other states can volunteer, but as far as the federal level, you know that's not going to happen.
Okay, so let me ask you this: at the end of his first term, at the end of 45's first term, he gave a speech at the border. Yep. Where he had all the paperwork drawn up to resolve a lot of this stuff.
You're exactly right.
Where is that paperwork, and why are we not?
It was overturned. It was overturned, and that's what the highway patrolman. I hadn't released it yet. A highway patrolman talked to me on audio, so I got a video that's fixing to go out, and it's me and her talking. And basically, when Obama was in office, they was having to do this same thing. What you got to understand is we're in a little Mayberry town. They are 600 highway patrolmen here. There's not a motel room anywhere around. Everywhere you go, I'm staying in the motel now, all these are police cars. Every motel is full of police cars. So what they're doing is they're bringing them down here from upstate, and they're having to stay here for a week or two at a time. And the state is having to pay for this because there's nobody on a federal level going to help, period. They've done everything they possibly could do, you know, and then, and I'm going to say this is just a BS move. They say, oh, we're going to get $1 billion. We're going to get, so basically the public sees on mainstream media, oh, don't worry about it. They're going to send $1 billion down there and then we're going to work on this. And then a local sheriff tells me, well, I can't hire nobody. So what good does that do?
Right.
It's all smoking guns. It's all, and I'm telling you right now, it is going to get worse. When you have property, all you see is property for sale at probably 1/10 of what it's worth.
Right, because
You know,
nobody wants to be there
It's
anymore.
coming to America. These people are getting shipped anywhere they want to go. And then the lady that I had on here earlier, she lives here. She knows more about it, and it's just getting. Man, it's just crazy. You'd never think that this would happen to America, and basically this is letting this happen.
Well,
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike said, you know, and you BONAFIDE as well said yesterday when we were talking, we're basically going through an invasion, and right
That's
now
all it is.
that the invasion is the core of it is right there in the area where you're at and at the Rio Grande where they're crossing at, and then what's going to happen is it's going to spread out like a shockwave throughout the country.
Yep. All right, here's what you got to understand with the deal with the election. Texas is the motor for the red vote. All right. If you bring in millions of people here that you obviously know are not going to vote that way or the way we want them to, because they're going to vote for the people who brought them in here. All right. Sheriff told me yesterday, you will never, if this does not stop, you will never see another Republican president. Period. Ever. Because Texas is, just like I said, it's the one that controls the half, let's just call it.
Well, you know, we were seeing earlier when that lady was interviewing the lady that
Yep.
she said that the ones that were coming across the border are trained by the cartel. To kill people. These kids are trained at a young age. They're part of the cartel. They're part of the MS-16 or whatever the hell that group is. They're going to be coming here causing mayhem, murdering people, burning cities down. And they catch some of them, but a lot of them are getting through.
99% of them are getting through.
All right, so out of all the militia that we heard was going down there, how much of them can we activate?
I've heard some from a few. Me personally, I hadn't seen anything yet. Now I'm with some guys that are putting some stuff together, and these guys flew in here as far away as Utah, and they're assessing the situation. We got this one sheriff. He's not here yet, and we meant to bring him on tonight. But he is going to step up to the plate, and he's going to barbed wire or razor wire his 14 miles. And basically it's going to go. Basically, they're going to have to go to other counties. Now he's hoping that the two other counties on both sides of him would do this also. So what you do is you make the gap smaller and smaller, where they got to go into one place. All right. So here's the deal: is if they was to walk up to the border, let's just say it, you know, where you drive through, they're not going to be allowed in right there. But as soon as you cross the river, that you're going to go into custody of the Border Patrol. All right, so the border is so busy that they got 600 officers down here taking care of this. So they know then that they are in, and they're going to get a court date that they could never show up to. All right, so when you think about it, it's basically like a traffic ticket or a parking ticket. So you go on about your life, and they go on about becoming citizens. Now, this deal with 42 and Biden changing that, from what I understand, this automatically makes everybody here an American citizen, if I ain't mistaken, or something to that effect, where it makes it very, very easy. All right.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't make them a straight up American citizen. It makes them a green card carrier immediately.
Yep. So basically, they're not illegal anymore. And you know the way that's going when it comes to the frog, that we already having problems with, the elections. They're getting they're not going to lay down and say we won. I mean, we're fixing to go on a fight. All right, now, you remember when I mentioned the 8 cities? I learned this when I was down here. The cartel and MS-13 has let's call it their militia in these cities. That's why they know what's going to take place. When you cut this border off, when you cut it off, we're going to be attacked from within in these big cities. And that's why I say get out. Now, I don't know when it's going to take place. I don't know what's going to happen when Trump gets here. He's coming here in a couple of days. Harris is down here now in El Paso, but she might as well be up there with y'all because there ain't nothing going on in El Paso. That's
Bob Marley's there to waste everybody's time.
Yeah, that's all it is smoking guns. A meeting that we just had was smoking guns. Nobody got to answer a question. What I mean by that is no questions got answered.
Right. Well,
anyway, if y'all want to,
Bonafide, when we get this sheriff on tonight, do you think he'll be prepared to tell the American people how we can all band together and come and help?
Well, it's going to be, basically they already told him. We was down here working on a plan with the guys that I'm with because of the grant for $1 billion. So before we even get to that point, they already tell us, well, you can't hire nobody. So this man's got 6 employees. And they tell you that you cannot hire anybody. How are you going to help this problem? Now, I don't know if that means contract, but basically what he's talking about is putting a prison in his county, and anybody coming through there, they're going to ship them directly back to where they come from.
Well, I think those are long-term solutions. What we need is a band of bodies to stop them from crossing the border right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, with the administration that's going on here right now, we would be the ones arrested. We would be the ones arrested. Basically, these people, when they come to our country, you really ain't even allowed to touch them. And I have yet to see one arrest, not one arrest, period. The only thing I've seen is people crawling out of the river and changing clothes and getting into a bus.
Right.
And then they go to facilities that we're not allowed to go to.
Well, I think well, we have to get somebody to pull some strings and get the arrest done that we need done. And I'm not talking about the people crossing the border. I'm talking about that idiot up there about to sign 42.
Yep. If that gets signed, the sheriff told me, he said, in nice words, we're screwed.
Right.
Then they're legal. Everybody here, and that's why they're doing this so quickly. And I'm talking about maybe an eighth of a mile. There was 77 people yesterday in one shift. And they said that was kind of a low number. But just like I said, what they're doing, the cartel's not stupid. They send a family across the river, and then a mile up the river, they bring in whoever they want to.
This is their career. This is what they've been doing in their life.
Yeah. And what you got to remember is that's $5,000 to $11,000 a person.
Yes.
That is $22 to $27 million a day.
How is this not a national emergency?
Well, that's
I think it is. But you got to look at the administration. I mean, you gonna go tell Biden it's an emergency?
Has
No, he ain't do a damn thing.
Has anybody been back through the two important executive orders 45 signed and see if there's contingencies in there for this?
I'm down here in Podunk, Texas. I don't know anything. They're basically, these guys down here are just like us. They see the problem. It's an invasion. That's exactly what the sheriff said. there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We are being invaded, and we are welcoming them in.
I'm not welcoming them in.
Well, let me tell you, we're gonna have somebody come back and say this is a national emergency again, because
Yep.
I do know that was recanted. The national emergency was recanted at the end
Yep.
of his term. Just like the paperwork he had done up was overturned. How much has the court system been cleaned up down there? Do we know?
None. The court system is
Wow.
might as well be. The sheriff here don't even get along with the judge here, so they don't see eye to eye on things.
I'm waiting for the bulb on that.
You know.
Did he order?
Yeah, he already ordered.
Yeah.
I don't-
You hang with us there. Mike's at work too,
And
so
I'm gonna tell you something. To deal with the governor here, you know, he may have a little rhino in him. And
yeah,
Well, no,
I heard
I
there's a little stake on him too.
Well, I think it's a little more than just a little rhino.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I've seen with
this
my
is
own
the
2 eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know this. I've seen 2 different numbers where 4 years ago he was donated by George Soros $600,000 at one time, and then last night we heard it was $3 million. You know, and that's public knowledge. It's called I have to give y'all the website. We'll give you the link, but it's transparency. I think it's some transparency website, and you can look up anybody that has ever run for anything and find out who their donors are and how much they donated.
right. Just like the Bushes that donated to him before, which is why he's where he's at right now.
Yeah. So
Aside-
what we're doing, we've
aside
been
from
on
the
here for an
Soros
hour,
stuff.
guys. And half of the people I left over there before the press did. They're just now starting to show up here. But what I'll try to do is line it up where I can sit down there with the sheriff tonight, and see if I can get him on here. There's no answer. I mean, yesterday we thought we had an answer because of the deal with the $1 billion grant.
Well,
And today they say you can't hire nobody. So, you know.
well, what we have to do right now, what we can do is we have to get this video and the audios that you got into
Yep.
the hands of people that can help spread it throughout the country.
Yep. This video, y'all need to share this video. If you don't think this is an American problem, you're sadly mistaken. What if it was a border of South Carolina or Virginia or whatever the case may be?
Well, that's just it. The way
you
it's
start seeing this influx of people. You know, these buses are going somewhere. These buses are going, and they're full of people, full. You know, it is. These people are basically have lost their land. On the hunt camp that I'm here with Mike Miller, every piece of property on that road is for sale, including his.
Mm.
And I'm talking about pennies on the dollar.
And the cartel probably come across and buy it all up.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. They was talking about just the lady that we had on a while ago. She said some Chinese company here has bought enough room to put in an airstrip.
Mm.
So, you know, they're buying the land. What they do is they ruin the land, the value of the land, and they come in and buy it at, you know, pennies on the dollar.
Crazy.
Beautiful land. It's got, you know, we're on a hunting lodge with all these wild game, and these people make a living out here doing this. They take care of these animals, and that's the only industry in that town that we was at. That's the only industry that little town's got. They don't have any kind of mills or anything like that. But anyway, we'll get off here. I'll get.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. Mike's got to get back to work. And we'll get up with you later on tonight.
Look, there's
Mike.
nothing more important than what we got right here.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Can't see you anymore. There you go.
There's nothing more important than what we got going on right here. All right. So if you need me, just let me know, okay? Because I'll be on, and I'm going to see about I can get this video out to myself as well.
Yeah.
Well, everybody that's on right now, don't worry. Tonight we'll have the links to help some of the local ranchers with their fences being tore down, their houses being tore up. There's nobody helping these guys. Mike's got a website where the guy we introduced to you yesterday, where you can go and donate to the local ranchers and help these people that have no help at all.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Let Mike get back to work. Thank Bonafide for coming on and giving us real news about what's going on down at the border. None of this fake stuff that you see on mainstream media. But anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. Mike, we'll see you tonight. Bonafide, I'll be in touch with you. If anything's breaking, let me know. But we'll end it here, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. More news later on today, okay?
Thank you, Bonafide.
All right.